Wednesday, December 23rd, 2015. Derek Davis here with Rob Vino, sportsbettingtoday.us, and Rob Vino Sports. Two bowl games today. We covered earlier Boise State, Northern Illinois, in the Poinsettia Bowl, from Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego. The second game, 219-220, the GoDaddy Bowl, played at Ladd Peoples Stadium, in Mobile, Alabama tonight. Kickoff 8 p.m. Eastern. Game 219-220 is how we have this one in the rotation. Georgia Southern and Bowling Green. Bowling Green -7 and 63.5. Game opened at Bowling Green -7 and 65. Weather in this one, Rob, should be wet. They have heavy rain in Mobile on the 22nd. The game's on the 23rd. You can look for rain throughout the day on the 23rd as well, all the way through the game. Winds gusting 15 to 20 miles per hour might be a factor in this one. We know how Bowling Green likes to throw the ball, Rob. Georgia Southern, on the other hand, a team that keeps it on the ground, could be a benefit of them there. Some wet conditions, sloppy field play. Georgia Southern, Rob, before that last game, the head scratcher, the thumping at home by Georgia State. If you throw out that game, Georgia Southern had a pretty nice end to the season. We're four wins and one loss against the spread. That loss, of course, the Georgia State game. Bowling Green, equally as strong, Rob, to finish up the season. Covered 7 out of the last 8. And have really showed the ability to put up points, Rob. Rob, an interesting matchup in two teams with different identities on offense. Usually these make for a pretty good game.
Yes, certainly the weather becomes the biggest issue in this game, Derek. Boy, I would have loved to have seen this game played on a dry track. The triple option offense of Georgia Southern against the air raid style of Dino Babers. We could still see that, but the rain is going to have a huge effect on this. I even saw some reports of a flash flood warning here in Mobile for this evening. So it's a game that's going to be impaired a little bit by weather. The most common philosophy in on a wet field, wet surface type game is to lean toward the team that runs the football better. Not so sure that that works in this case, only because Bowling Green is such a precision style passing game. A lot of bubble screens, short routes with cuts where the receivers know where they're going and the defense doesn't. And Bowling Green may be able to shake loose here. Wind plays a major factor in this as well. Matt Johnson, strong arm quarterback. We'll see if he can cut through the wind here. Maybe going one way easier than going the opposite direction here in this contest. But weather being what it is, let's take a look at the fundamentals here. And especially, let's start with the situation of the coaching staffs here. For Georgia Southern, Willie Fritz, their head coach, is now gone. So Georgia Southern will be led by Del McGee, their running backs coach, while Bowling Green has also lost Dino Babers, who's gone on to Syracuse, and they'll be led interimly for this game by their defensive coordinator, Brian Ward. Teams react well sometimes to assistants that step up and coach in bowl games. Sometimes they don't. I don't think there's any real situational angle there. I do, however, believe that both of these offenses can run themselves. You've got veteran quarterbacks, Kevin Ellison on one side, a whiz at running the option, Matt Johnson on the other side, very accurate air raid style quarterback. All the components of the offenses here, the skill positions, whether it be the Bowling Green triumvirate of Johnson, Travis Green in the backfield, Roger Lewis, wide receiver, or whether it be Kevin Ellison, the quarterback for Georgia Southern, and his top running back, Matt Breida. These guys know the offense inside and out, so I don't think that there's going to be any confusion. What we might see early, we saw it with Western Kentucky. We saw them, especially Brandon Dowdy, have a little bit of rust till he got it going the other day. Western Kentucky wound up scoring 45 points in that game. The long layoffs sometimes do cause rust in timing style offenses like Bowling Green's. Like I said, I would have loved to see this on a dry track. The Bowling Green defense, I have no idea how they can simulate Georgia Southern's triple option in practice. They just don't have the components. I'd expect Georgia Southern to have some gaping holes to run through here in this one. For Bowling Green, I don't know how Georgia Southern defends their air raid style of offense. They just don't see it during the season run as effectively as Bowling Green runs it. So, and once again, dry track, this would have been a fireworks show. Wet track, maybe it's slowed down some, but I will say this. Watched Western Kentucky in an absolute downpour. And the only reason why I mentioned Western Kentucky is because they're comparable to Bowling Green's offense in the style of play. Saw them in a torrential downpour against Florida International about a month ago, and WKY still moved the ball extremely effectively, so you never know how these rain type games are going to work out. Once again, wind may play a factor here. We'll have to see. Perhaps the best thing to do here is to watch the first half, see how the field conditions are, see how the weather is affecting the game, and then make a play based off of that. Some in-game betting, some second half betting. I passed this game, did not play tonight, but we will look to do something in the second half.